Hi guys, this is the fifth problem of the DSA series. So let's get started. It says top k frequent elements given an integer array nums and an integer k, return the k most frequent elements within the array. Okay, so let's say this is the input. We have to return the most frequent elements, two most frequent elements, since k is 2. So the most frequent is 1 appeared twice, 2 appeared thrice, 3 appeared twice, 4 appeared 4 times, right? So 4 is the most frequent and the second most frequent is 2 because it appeared twice. Sorry, it appeared thrice. Okay, so output will be 4 and 2. So yeah, so we have to write a function to do that. Let's name it top k frequent. Okay, top k frequent, and then here we can have nums array and k, how many frequent. So what we can do here is we can simply make an object with, let's say, 1. How many times 1 appeared? Twice. That is, the key can be the element, array element, and value can be the frequency. It is how many times it appeared, right? Then we can have 2. How many times 2 appeared? It appeared thrice. So yeah, and then from this object we can pick the top frequencies, right? If we need, yeah, right, we can top frequency. If we want, if k is 3, then that is top 3 frequent elements we can pick and then return. Okay, so yeah, so let's do that. First let's make the object. So in order to make the object, yeah, let's simply do const map is equals to this, and then we can simply map over it, map over the nums array. Let num of nums, and then we can say map. Okay, if, yeah, let's say this key is already being present, num key is already being present, then simply whatever the value is the frequency, whatever the frequency is, add 1 to it. But let's say if it's not present, that means it's undefined. Instead of undefined, use 0. Okay, and then again add 1. So in this manner we'll get the object. Now we want top k frequent elements, right? So we can simply do object dot entries. Yes, then we can sort. Okay, object dot entries map. It gives us an array of sub arrays. Each sub array will consist of a key value pair, right? So let's first sort it in descending order. Since we need to sort it in descending order of frequency, we have to write a b and then simply do a 1, because frequency is the value, hence it will be on the first index instead of the 0th index. b1, no, I think it will be yes, b minus a. This will give us the thing in descending order. Now since we have sorted it, we want top k elements, so simply let's just what do we do? I just, to break it, man, I just forgot what was that. Not slice values, no, slice shift keys join includes for each. Is it slice? I think it is then a slice. Okay, I think it's slice from 0 to k. The other one is splice. Getting confused. Okay, so slice, so it will be sliced, but then we still have the key value pair. Although we have top k elements, but we have the key value pair. That is the object as well as the frequency. right? So we don't want frequency, we only want objects, like sorry, we don't want frequency, we only want the element, the most frequent ones. So here we can simply map and say whatever the entry is, simply do entry dot, no, entry 0. Okay, yeah, now this should work. Let's see. Let's simply console log top k frequent, no, top k frequent, top k frequent, and let's just have it this as input. Const input is equals to this, okay, top k frequent element. Now we have input and then we have k, let's say is 2. Now node 005 top k frequent elements dot js. Okay, so it gives undefined. Why? Because we are not returning anything, so we gotta return this method. Okay, so it gave us 4 and 2, right? It is correct output. Let's do 3 here. It gave us 4, 2, 1. Okay, it's giving us the things in the correct order, in decreasing order. This is the most frequent, this is the least, this is the second most frequent, this is the least frequent. Okay, from in this array. So yeah, so now let's come to time complexity. This is O of n, so this is n, then plus object dot entries dot entries map. Okay, the object dot entries. So obviously this object will have like fewer elements as compared to the array, because this object is made from the array itself, right? If in array we have like 2-3 times, then it will have only one entry for that, 2 key, 3 value. So yeah, so let's call it m. So m will be smaller than n, or can be equal to as well if all distinct elements. So yeah, so this is m plus, then we are sorting. So again, sorting is m log m plus slicing. Again, this k will be smaller than or can be equals to m. So slicing k, and then we are mapping plus k for k times. Okay, so this is the time complexity here. Here these k's can be ignored, right? These k's can be ignored, and we have n plus m log m. We then, so fine, so n and m, n is bigger, so we have like n plus m log m, and in the first, so we have like, so we have n plus m log m, and here in the worst case scenario n will be equals to m. So yeah, so the time complexity here is n log n, right? So this is the time complexity here. Now let me tell you a more optimized way, but if asked in the interview, you can simply give this solution. If asked to optimize more, then you can give the better ones. Okay, so yeah, let me give you another solution. Function top k frequent, let's call it final. Okay, Here again we get nums k. Here the idea is, what we can do is we can have, so this is also called something like bucket selection or bucket sort, something like that. I don't remember the name. Okay. But yeah, so the idea here is, what we'll do is, let's say again we have this input, so what we'll do here is, we'll make an array of sub arrays like this and this. Okay, so it will contain this is the zeroth index, right? This is the zeroth index, this is the first index, this is the second index, this is the third index, and this is the fourth index, right? So zeroth index nothing will come, on the first index nothing will come, on the second index again the elements which are repeated twice will come, like 1 is repeated twice and 3 is being repeated twice, these will come. On the third index, element that are being repeated thrice will come, that is 2. On the fourth index, element that are being repeated 4 times will come, that is this, right? And then we can simply merge these, and and from the back side, if we see, the most frequent element will be at the back, so we'll get 4 and 2, right? The top k most frequent element. So this is how we'll do this. Okay, now here again, first let's make an object similar to this. So I just copy this step. Okay, yeah, so we got a map object. Now let me make here as well const, let me call this bucket is equals to not this, we can do array dot from, so it's, so you understood, no? It's okay, so you understand that its length will be equal to the max number of elements present here. Okay, like max length will be number of elements present here. So we can do length is nums dot length, and then on each position we want an empty array. Okay, so this will give us something like this, and so on and so on. Okay, so I'm just commenting this. So yeah, we get the bucket. Now we can iterate over this map and put the respective subarrays and put things in respective subarrays. For let key of map, this key of map will give us the frequency, const frequency, because value is the frequency, map key. Now this gave us the frequency on, and if you remember, on the frequency is the index, right? For example, this has this 1 and 3 are being repeated twice, so 2 is the index for 1 and 3, right? And same goes for all the other elements. So we can say bucket frequency is the index, frequency is the index, dot push whatever the key is, right? At this, the key will be pushed. Now we get something like this. Now if we can iterate from back and get the top k elements, this is the only thing now we want. So we'll do for let I equals to equals to bucket dot length I should be greater than equals to 0 I minus minus. Okay, here we can simply, let's make another array. In that array we can push this, like we can do here from the back we can push 4, then we can push 2 if k equals to 2, if k is 3 then we can push 3 as well, if k equals to 4 then we can push 1 as well. So depending on the k we can push that number of elements from the back in this new array, and then we can simply return this array. That's all. So yeah, so first no, so we can push all the elements, and then we can again will again slice it for k elements and then return, right? So this will have, this new array will have 4 2 3 1, and then we can slice it and return 4 and 2. Okay, so this is the plan. So let's call this array result is equals to this, an empty array. Here we can do if first of all on that frequency something should exist. If bucket I exists, then, or we can, the empty array will all obviously exist. So we'll check if bucket I has some length, that is it is not empty, then simply do result dot push bucket I. This is how we destructure the subarray, right? Now we have the result. Now we can return result dot slice 0s to k. Okay, this should work. Let's see. No top. Okay. Let's console log this and top k frequent final. Let's make it 2 and let's see. It says map is not iterable in line number 40. Okay, yeah, instead of we want n since map is an object. Okay, now let's see. It again says cannot read properties of undefined length in line 46. If bucket I dot length अभी आ रहा हूँ थोड़ी देर में, 10 मिनट में आ रहा हूँ. Bucket I should have some length, right? Nums dot length an empty array. So yeah, this should be something like this, and every subarray can have length. Let key in num in map frequency, map key gives us frequency, then on that particular place bucket frequency dot push the key. Okay, let I equals to bucket dot length, I should be greater than equals to 0, I minus minus. Now if bucket I dot length exists, that is not equals to 0. Why? It says that cannot read properties of undefined length. cannot read properties of undefined length. Mhm. Get dot length should be here, no? Let us again try to run this. It says again cannot read properties of undefined. How come get I is undefined? Okay, so yeah, it will be -1. Sorry. Yep, now this is working. So yeah, and now let's go into time complexity. The time complexity, this is O of n. Map is obviously smaller than the length, the number of elements present in num, so it is, we can say O of m, and then this is also like O of n, and this is again O of k. So yeah, the time complexity here in this scenario is O of n, right? So yeah guys, that's all from my side. I'm pushing this on my Git, you can check it out there. I'll give you the link in comments, and thanks for watching. Let me just first